Welcome back, everyone, to another live edition of the Streakers Island podcast, where we put the pod in the cast and the cast in the pod. We are joined by Mr. More for Your Money once again. And do you recall the most dashing podcaster of all, Lane Dashing Dashco?
That's me.
But Lane, you must be smiling bigger than Henry Burris. Because Hamilton has now won 5 straight. And I will say, I'm impressed Hamilton did it with Kenny Lawler being pretty much invisible.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. He was basically just there to have fun and watch and hang out. He really didn't have to do much today.
I will say that one catch he made in the final drive when the ball got deflected on the O-line.
That was nice.
That was a huge catch. It may not look huge on the stat sheet or it's a 3 or 4 yards, but the fact that it kept the drive going that led to be the winning touchdown drive was incredible. And that's why you need guys like that on your team. Even if they're not the superstar of that game, they just make the superstar moments if they have to, and he did this time.
No, you're right.
Is he Canadian?
Is it safe to say now, though, that Bo Levi Mitchell is the best quarterback in the CFL? Because I think it is.
100%.
No.
It's way too much time.
I'm saying no.
Why?
Better, Dan.
I think it's Kevin Harris.
Who the hell's Kevin Harris?
Trevor Harris, sorry.
No,
I was like,
that's don't lie.
The singer that made that song, like,
Calvin Harris.
To you right
now. Calvin Harris. He's a good dude. I like him.
Oh my!
I thought that's what Dan was talking about.
Yeah, Trevor Harris. I mean, he's 40 years old. He's a 6-1 record. I mean, he's a guy I go with.
No, it's Bo Levi Mitchell. It's not even a question, and I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, 100%. I agree. Like,
tell me why?
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why? I never want to hear them say the Ticats are worse than the Argos because they're not at the moment.
But I mean, we're looking at what Bo Levi Mitchell did tonight, right? Over 380 yards. The one pick he threw was not on him at all.
No,
that was probably the play of the year already.
Although I did think it was kind of weird watching that. I don't know why Bo Levi. I mean, I know why Bo Levi Mitchell does it because he has the confidence to make those throws. But I did think he was going to the well a little bit much tonight. But at the end of the day, here's another game where I think the Ticats, let's be honest, I think this is the 3rd week in a row now where they haven't played great. This was not a well-played game. They didn't lead the entire game. They were in the hole. They were constantly down, and 3 minutes to go, down 10, and here then they get the touchdown drive just around the 3-minute mark. They make a key stop on defense, which their defense, I'll be honest, was not good all night, but they made a key stop there. 3 minutes left to go, and then you give the best quarterback 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and that's game over because clock management, experience, just field knowledge, just field IQ, having that experience all those years in the CFL, he's just gonna go down the field. And the one thing that I think that was a good point that they mentioned, Rod Black mentioned on the broadcast was why BC at some point in this whole drive couldn't think, maybe we should stop. Maybe we should set up one safety or one guy in the middle of the field instead of dropping back 20 yards and just giving them first downs left and right. Even they said they're like, this is like the 5th pass where they're all dropping back 30 yards. And Bo Levi Mitchell's like, okay, you want to give me 10 yards here? I'll take it.
I'll take it, right? And Bo Levi Mitchell did. And at the end of the day, I mean, I still think we got to give BC some credit. I thought Nathan Rourke played a really solid game.
They played fantastic. But
that move from Carter Jr. Holy cow. That definitely takes me back 15 years. That's a Superman. Soldier boy, tell him you play. It was that good of a move. I don't know if you
have it on there, Jacob. We went to show that.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my gosh. It was that good.
I will say, I think BC has to feel like they really went shot for shot with Hamilton here. And
it was a really good game.
I said going into this one, I think one defense will make one stop at a key moment. And it was when Hamilton got their touchdown to get the only down by 3. And then Hamilton's defense created a 2-and-out. Right?
Yeah.
Big play when they needed it.
I think the difference was this game was the quarterbacks. It was men versus boys.
I couldn't agree with you. I couldn't disagree with you anymore. Rourke went 20 for 27 and 289. Rourke had a good game.
But at the end of the day,
Rourke had a good game.
Well, he did. He had a good game.
At the end of the day, if your offense puts up 33, that's not on your offense.
No, he had a good game, but Lane nailed it on the head. When it came down to the final 2 minutes and that one final drive between time management and getting the plays done, it was men versus boys.
Well,
it came down to BC's defense had to at least slow them down.
I just think
I agree with Lane more to the fact that they just kept dropping everyone back 20 yards and
there's no
just staying in the pocket.
Yeah.
Like it made it easy for him on that final drive. That final drive, it literally looked like practice.
There was no adjustment. Like, I don't know if Jacob, you agree with me? Like, Streakers game, you got 65.
Which you're being called out, Mr. Moore, for, because in our pregame show, we were talking about how on the Streakers app we had set the over-under to 65 points.
I would have said over too.
Which Dan said under. Dan's like, way under, 65, that's insane. Milt Stieg on the broadcast called for 70 points, and that's what we got, exactly 70 points combined. So, Mr. Moore, you've been called out.
I mean, but at the end of the day, like I just looked at that final drive, and again, I'm gonna say there was no adjustments from the BC Lions defense. It's still like they set up to do the same play over and over. Now, okay, let's address the elephant in the room. I don't know if it matters, but I'll address the elephant in the room. Yeah. But again,
that was a terrible penalty. Terrible call. It didn't.
I don't know if it made
zero difference to the outcome. Luckily.
Well, you don't know that. What if they don't get that play on second down, and then now you're forced?
Yeah, but Lane, they moved up like a third of a yard.
Yeah, but you got a free down though. That's the thing.
But Hamilton got it on. Let's say Hamilton had to use that extra down and they won. Then I would say that penalty made a difference. Hamilton got it on the very next play, which would have been second down. I honestly don't see Scott Milanovich calling it any different. He's looking at the defense. I have no idea why you're rushing 10, but okay.
What I found really unique about that penalty called was right in front of the play, the ref did not throw a flag. It was the ref in the back corner of the end zone that threw the flag.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and the guy didn't even touch him, bro. Like, it wasn't even.
That's one there I'd really
debatable. I was like, what?
Just be like, hey, it's not a penalty.
No, it wasn't.
That's when you literally could have changed the call in a matter of 2.7 seconds.
Great acting job by Tim Whitefair diving. I don't know if he just felt that the guy's ankle was close to his and went for a diving match. That's what it looked like to me. But
I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Right.
Florida Panther style, right? Like,
yeah, literally. That's what it felt like. It felt like I can't beat from joining them. It's like.
You know, well, it's, again, I hate to say it, but at the end of the day, it's smart IQ, right? You know the rules of the game. When you feel it's the same in hockey. It's no different than when you feel.
You're right.
No, it's no different than when you feel someone touch your jersey, you're falling down.
And I think that's what
in basketball, if you feel someone even graze your hand, you're going, oh, my shot! Oh no!
So we talk about soccer in that category. No,
but what I'm curious about is though. And I especially want to get this from Lane. How are you feeling seeing Tim White and Bo Levi Mitchell finally connecting?
Oh,
I hope this was their best game together since Mitchell's been a Ticats.
Oh, for sure. Just
Tim White, 6 for 6, 86 yards, averaging 14.3 yards per play, 24 yards after the catch, and long of 35. I thought Tim White had a phenomenal game.
We also got to talk about Smith there, too. The other receiver, wow, what a game he had too.
I don't know if you listened to his post-game interview at all.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
They asked him, do you think you've made an impact on the Canadian receivers? And he just looks bluntly in the camera and goes, I am the best Canadian receiver.
You're
he had a good game, but to say you're better than Tyson Philpott, no, you're not.
You're nobody.
This is a good young wide receiver. And I understand you need to have that swagger, but there's a difference between swagger and arrogance. And I get he just had a big game. I get he was the biggest. He was the Kenny Lawler tonight, going
Oh,
14
sure.
catches on 15 targets, 138 yards, 2 TDs. He played phenomenal. But
Well,
I mean, I think that's a time where, and I've noticed this with Hamilton, I don't mean any disrespect, but the Ticats do have a tendency to get over cocky. We've seen it in the last few years. And I just, as an Argo fan, I hope they get over cocky and start losing. Sorry, Lane. But as a football, I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way about Toronto after them beating Winnipeg.
Oh, yeah. Saw your messages on Facebook. I'm like, oh, here we go. They win one game, and here comes Jacob with all the memes. I'm like, oh, yeah, here we go.
But like now I'm waiting to see from Hamilton, because they've done this before when they go on these mini runs and then they'll just go on this like 2 to 3 week slump and it kills.
No, I don't think that's going to happen this year.
Well,
I
yeah,
think this year, I hate saying it, I'm wearing my Argos jersey, but I think this year Ticats are a real deal. I don't know if they're going to finish first in the East, but I know they'll make the playoffs.
I honestly think they might.
Because you don't.
I'm gonna hot take here. I think right now, I actually think Hamilton's better than Montreal.
What?
They might
You've
be.
won 5 straight. You are the hottest team in football right now.
And you can make the argument. I'm going to say that the last 3 wins, they haven't really been impressive.
That's not been their best football. They've been.
But that's what I'm
ways to win.
saying. But I mean, like you look at tonight, right? Like we wondered what this team would look like without Kenny Lawler, because Kenny Lawler, and I'm not saying I agree with it. I don't agree with it. Went out there and was like, "Ooh, you can't cover me. You can't put the whole team on me. I'll still catch." Well, you won't. But anyways, not the point. We wondered what the aftermath of them begging him for double coverage, apparently, what this team would look like. And it turns out this team can still get it done.
Yeah.
They still have weapons. Greg Bell had a good game. Augustine had a good game. The running game seemed improved this week. I will say that. They were running the ball well. You know, they had Smith and Tim White coming in big.
And Orange had a nice game, too, with 3 catches for 63 yards.
So, you know, here's a game where Kenny Lawler, again, wasn't really being used a lot, didn't really being relied on. They didn't play fantastic, and they found a way to win, which has been a key thing here on the island, is finding ways to win. Exactly. And I think this team is different because they know, even though they're not playing spectacular, they're doing what they can to win these games. This is like the second time in the last 3 weeks where it's like in the last 3 minutes they walk down the field and go, bada bing, bada boom, Mr. Worldwide, step in the room, you know.
Yeah, well,
just so you guys are aware now, Bo Levi Mitchell is now past Nick Arbuckle for most passing yards this year.
Aww.
With 2,201, and the touchdown interception ratio for me is what blows my mind on Mitchell. 15 TDs to only 3 interceptions.
Oh, he's right.
And even the interception tonight, I'm sorry, you throw that 109 to 99. That's
even the catcher. I forget. I think it was Orange, right? He was looking like, "Where's the ball?" Like he was looking at his arms. Where's the ball? You know. But I have a question for you, Mr. Jacob. And one of your props in the Streakers app tonight, you had set up 4 Ticats receivers make 3 catches,
and
I think if you're looking stats, you're pretty close.
It happened because it was receivers and running backs, and it did happen between Smith, or actually it was 4: Smith, Orange, White, and Bell.
Right. Now the other thing
I think what we saw tonight is, if you just focus strictly on Kenny Lawler, it'll blow up in your face. If you play Kenny Lawler like a normal receiver, it'll blow up in your face. Truthfully, I actually think the Ottawa Red Blacks, as much as they lost both games to Hamilton the last couple of weeks, I thought they actually defended Hamilton the best out of what I've seen on this run. Lawler got his touches, but he didn't take over the game. Hamilton's offense got going, but didn't completely dominate. Like it was, as I think with Hamilton, I don't think you can shut down this offense completely. I don't think you're going to see like what Toronto did to Winnipeg this week, where they just can't do anything. I think this offense is very, 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 very good. I would say it's kind of like you're not going to keep Connor McDavid off of the score sheet in hockey, but you can contain him. I think the goal moving forward, if you're playing Hamilton, is like, we got to try to keep this offense under 30.
That's the key. 30 points needs to be the magic number. Now,
because I didn't think Hamilton's defense, although they stepped up in a couple key moments, I didn't think their defense looked great tonight.
No, they made some big mistakes.
like I don't think they created one turnover. And
the other prop,
I just think that even the one turnover was more on Butler than it was on anything, because Butler's just got to hold that. And also, too, Rourke just shouldn't have made that throw at that point. I would say that was Rourke's only like real mistake that whole game. Because like I said, I think both quarterbacks played very well. And I do agree with you, Dan. You did see veteran versus young stud. And I do feel Rourke looked comparable. Yeah, I think Mitchell was a little better tonight, but I think Nathan Rourke played good enough to win. At the end of the day, BC did put up 32 points. And you should be able to win when you score 32.
No, for sure. I mean, the other prop did not happen is he predicted York to hit 301 yards, and he hit 289.
He was close.
But he did get the 65 over points. Where were the other two props?
I was wrong about Lawler. Well, I said Lawler would not get 2 TDs, and he did not.
Okay.
And it was about the receivers, which
he
Hamilton
pretty good on the props.
I had a good night. But now we look at for Hamilton, you got to feel like you're not just pushing for a playoff spot. Lane is so excited he had to throw his mic on the ground.
Lane's Bardak is 1999 already.
But Hamilton's got to feel like right now, look, we can win the East. We can beat any team on any given night because you've beat Montreal. And I'm going to say too, all the East right now has got to be feeling good. Everyone's been going on all year. The West is better than the East.
Everyone's got to feel good except Ottawa.
Well, Ottawa didn't play this weekend. But I'm saying the teams that played in the East swept the West this week. And if you're East, you got to feel good about that because now the East was able to be like, look, we are just as good as the West, even if maybe some of our records aren't there.
Yeah.
Right. So you had Montreal beating Calgary, Toronto beating Winnipeg, and then Hamilton beating BC. So this was an 0-3.
Call me crazy.
This was the only win the West got was a West on West game.
Maybe I have Argo blinders on, but I think this game from the Argos this week was a big statement game. And I think the Argos can start turning it around after beating Winnipeg.
I think they can too.
Especially if they beat Winnipeg twice. If they beat Winnipeg twice, and they're 3-5, and Montreal and Hamilton are 5-2, if they're not that far behind, it could be a freeway race in the East.
But now when we go and look at this and look at the standings right now after this beautiful week of football, the Riders
great week though. Wow,
it was phenomenal week. The Riders, after squeezing out a tight win against the Elks, now take over first in the West with Calgary right behind. It's really between Winnipeg and BC which team can string together some wins. You have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers who have just been playing bad, straight up. They've lost 3 in a row.
BC's 3-5.
BC's 3-5. But now we move to the East, and this is where Hamilton and Montreal are deadlocked. But Hamilton currently has the edge because they've won more and they have more points. Then you have Toronto, who is now currently only 2 points behind BC and Winnipeg. And remember, Toronto still plays one more time against Winnipeg, 2 more times against BC. I will say this, for Toronto, Winnipeg, and BC, they are all 3 of those teams are still in the driver's seat right now currently.
Oh, yeah. I think there's this. I think as an Argos fan, even though you hate to see Hamilton win, this might have been your best result because you got the win.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the BC, the one team that was threatening the crossover, maybe loses, and then you get a win up on them. So I think, especially with the way your season's gone, I think you're happy with. You're not happy the Ticats because I know Argos fans are never happy when anything good happens in Hamilton. But I think this is one of the situations you'd be like, all right, we'll let it slide.
I gotta admit, I was frustrated with about 4 minutes to go in the game because Hamilton was losing by 10. And I remember saying to Jacob, I'm like, whoa, even when we cheer for Hamilton, they suck. So I eat my own words. I did say I ended up winning, so I was wrong. Good on Hamilton.
I mean, you'll see my power rankings tomorrow, but Hamilton's definitely moving up.
Oh yeah, do it now.
But Hamilton, you look at Hamilton's schedule coming up, and you have the Elks, Lions, and Riders for your next 3. And I think you're confidently saying you're at least winning 2 out of those 3.
I was just gonna say that, yeah.
Because you should beat the Elks. And I think they can beat the Lions again.
Yeah.
So if you win that, and then the Riders on Happy Birthday on
Ooh.
August 16th, that is a game that I think is a 50-50 shot right now. I think Hamilton is good enough to beat Saskatchewan, but I also think Saskatchewan is good enough to beat Hamilton. So, but if Hamilton can go
quarterback matchup,
but if they can go 2 out of 3 in those, and let me pull up Montreal's schedule. And Montreal, they have the Riders, Elks, and then the Lions. So, I mean, in theory, Montreal could win 2 out of 3 of those. So it's very interesting, these next 3. It might be whoever can find a way to go on a bit of a run over these next 3, may be able to pull away in the East first position a little bit.
Right.
Because, Dan, I'm sorry, I get what you're saying. I still feel it right now. It's a 2-horse race for first in the East. I'm going to call it.
I agree with you. I'm just saying if Toronto beats Winnipeg again next week, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, but Toronto, I think their goal is just squeezing into the playoffs. I think that's their goal at this point. Where Hamilton and Montreal's goal is to win is to win the East.
They want the bye. They want the home field.
Mind you, the bye doesn't always mean you win the Grey Cup. I mean, we saw last year Toronto had to play all 3, and they found a way to win.
Right, exactly.
But at the end of the day, I don't know. I think that right now Hamilton might be the best art. I have to think about it a little bit, but Hamilton.
They're definitely the best offensive team, I think, 100%.
I do agree with you there. I think they're them
in Calgary.
Okay, the only thing I'll say is I still don't think their run game is anything to.
But their points.
It's okay. Their run
I'm not
game
really
okay.
sold on Bell. Maybe I'm crazy for saying that.
I just think it's the amount of points they put up is. Like it was them in Calgary.
They don't need a great running game with how good Bo Levi Mitchell is. They just need a running game that's good enough to keep defenses honest, and I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, because tonight, Dan was like, at first, Mitchell this over Harris, over Rourke so much. I'm like, yeah, but then you look at the running game. Like, I think BC really. I actually don't know why BC went away from the running game so much in the second half.
Buckler had a great game. Holy cow. I don't know why
it was working, and then all of a sudden it wasn't working.
Yeah.
But I think what I don't understand with teams, a running game will be working and you'll get 2 bad plays and you go away from it, but a quarterback can miss 10 straight passes in a row and they'll keep throwing it.
Yeah,
I think it's just you also just wonder if it's at this point it was just kind of like, because Bo Levi Mitchell, the Nathan Rourke, you want to show off who's better, right?
Yeah, but as a coach, you shouldn't care about that. Right? Because James Butler did finish with 115 yards, 2 TDs on 16 carries, but he had over 80 yards after the first half. I just think Butler could have been used more efficiently in the second half in this game, and maybe that eats up a little more clock, and maybe then BC finds a way to win this one. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you, yeah.
Because James Butler really played a good game, and Greg Bell was okay. 11 carries, 56 yards. He did have a fumble as well, as so did Butler. So both of them made
that was a key fumble too.
I actually I would like to see Hamilton use Johnny Augustine more. I think he's a really good back. Power back, and I think they should be using him more up the middle and saving Greg Bell for more trying to kick it to the outside.
I liked him in Hamilton and Winnipeg too.
But at the end of the day, Hamilton is now for the first time in a while. And I want to ask you, when was the last time you felt this confident about your Tiger Cats?
Probably back in with Chad Owens and who's the other guy I'm thinking about?
Maybe Lawrence?
No, when we had the duo, the Argo duo, Chad Owens and no, the other receiver. We have 2 Argos receivers. I'm just trying to think who it was. It's killing me now.
I can't remember. I'm sorry, bud. So you're saying more like you're even saying you feel more confident in this team than the team that went to the Grey Cup 2 straight years in a row?
I'd say it's on that level.
It's on that level right now.
Wow.
Like it just feels like when we had. I'm trying to think of when we had who we had. My name's drawing a blank here. I just remember we had 2. I know we had 2 former Argos receivers. We had Chad Owens. We had somebody else too, but.
So then, right now, is your expectation for Hamilton Grey Cup?
I'd say at least Eastern Conference semifinals.
At least Eastern Final. Okay, so if you'd say if they don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals this year, the season's a fail.
I think so.
That's fair.
Wow.
Oh,
I'd
100%
say for us
the way
in
of
our
playing.
goal land, I just want to see them make the playoffs at this point with how bad they started. BC Lions, on the other hand, I think they were going into the season thinking they could win the West, that the West was wide open, and I don't see them winning the West the way they're playing.
I think the biggest fail so far this season is Winnipeg. Winnipeg's hosting the Grey Cup. Winnipeg did not spend up to the salary cap. Winnipeg let Adam Big Hill walk, one of their veteran leaders. And now they got Zach Guerrero's injured and they're 500.
Yeah.
That's
But on that
bad, bro.
bombshell, if you want to hear more CFO content about Week 9, we will have our pre-recorded show hitting the airwaves tomorrow morning because the sun will come out tomorrow. But on that note, we are going to wrap up this live show. Thank you very much for watching the Streakers Island podcast post-game edition. And join us again tomorrow for our pre-record show. I'm the self-proclaimed sports analyst, joined by Mr. Lane, Dash and Dashko, and Mr. Moore for your money.
Woo!
Until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye-bye.